We are now on air. Time for a total takeover.
It's finally here. Welcome to a new episode.
It's about to go down.
Good morning. Greetings and salutations. This is yours truly, Dan Adams, aka the Soulful Conservative, the DA, and the Prosecutor. And this is the morning edition of the Dan Adams Show. First and foremost, giving honor to God and to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for allowing me to see another day, for allowing me this opportunity to come to you and spew whatever that's coming off the top of the dome. And for those that don't know what the top of the dome means, that means the brain, the medulla oblongata, and the cerebral cortex. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get right into it. First topic of this edition of the Dan Adams Show, the morning, because it is morning. Good morning. Get your coffee, get your tea, get your crumpets, get whatever you need to get yourself settled in for the day. I want to talk about fake news outlets, fake news anchors, calling this Susan Rice unmasking scandal a fake scandal. So here we have, again, ladies and gentlemen, those on the left, the liberal leftist numbnut moonbats, the fake news and the lamestream media, coming out again with a legit, and I mean in capital letters, Legit, legit scandal in regards to Susan Rice unmasking Trump associates, Trump transition team, Trump family members, Trump maids, Trump butlers. Who knows where the line ends in regards to who was surveilled, who was wiretapped, and who was spied on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and I gotta fix this camera here. Just give me 1 second. So all my YouTube people, just give me a second. And for all my Spreaker people out there, this is what I'm doing. I'm adjusting my camera for my YouTube folk. We have a situation where Susan Rice, yes, right, ladies and gentlemen, Susan Rice, you know, this Susan Rice.
But based on the best information we have to date, what our assessment is as of the present is in fact what it began spontaneously in Benghazi as a reaction to what had transpired some hours earlier in Cairo, where of course, as you know, there was a violent protest outside of our embassy sparked by this hateful video. But soon after that spontaneous protest began outside of our consulate in Benghazi, we believe that it looks like extremist elements, individuals joined in that effort with heavy weapons of the sort that are unfortunately readily now available in Libya post-revolution, and that it spun from there into something much, much more violent.
But you do not agree with him that this was something that had been plotted out several months ago?
We do not have information at present that leads us to conclude that this was premeditated or pre-planned.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you expect for us normal thinking, common sense, knowing how to disseminate what's true and what's fiction? Are we actually going to believe this woman, where she adamantly yesterday on MSNBC with Andrea Mitchell stated that this was just part of her job, and that she didn't leak it in this information, and there was nothing political in regards to her putting in multiple, relentlessly going after, trying to, and ultimately getting the authorization to unmask these names in these surveillance reports. Now, I was listening to Sean Hannity on the way home from work yesterday, and I'll get to that side topic in just a second in regards to Sean Hannity. But ladies and gentlemen, you have a situation where you have Susan Rice, once again, the liar in chief, part deux, liar in chief to the second, whatever you want to call it, because we all know Barack Hussein Obama was and is still the ultimate liar in chief. But seeing that they are so close, ladies and gentlemen, Susan Rice and Barack Hussein Obama, they are so close that you know darn well you know within your heart of hearts, you know that first, number one, Barack Hussein Obama was behind this from the beginning, from the get-go, straight out of the gate. Please do not tell me, please do not try and throw this idiotic notion that he didn't, first of all, have anything to do with it, didn't know anything about it, and wasn't the person who started it. Because why in the world, why, first of all, why, ladies and gentlemen, if normal surveillance of foreign entities, foreign adversaries was being done, why would she specifically go in and ask for Trump associates, Trump transition team members, Trump family members, the Trump butler, the Trump maid, the Trump car washer, anyone that was involved with Trump? Why are you asking specifically for those names to be unmasked? And here we get leaked information, and thank you, Evelyn Farkas, for letting us know what went down, what you tried to do in regards to letting the Obama administration know to get everything, grab everything, gather up everything you can in regards to surveillance of Trump. That we've come to this point now where when she asked for these names to be unmasked, from what I understand, people keep saying, I was just watching The Morning Joe and that one particular gentleman, I can't remember his name at this present time, saying that there's a gray area in regards to when someone is surveilled, well, I should say, when a foreign adversary or foreign entity of any kind is surveilled, and Americans are somehow incidentally brought into the fray, that they're supposed to be masked and not unmasked unless national security concerns are at the forefront. Well, I'm thinking to myself, unless Trump was planning a terrorist attack, unless Trump's transition team, Trump's family members, Trump's butler, if they weren't planning some type of terrorist attack or anything of that nature of national security concerns, then why did she want those names unmasked? Okay. We know that the lamestream, numbnut, moonbat, lamestream media, fake news outlets, and the Democrat Party are going to say there's no there here, when we all know there is. But yet, when Intel Chief Devin Nunes comes out with information that corroborates what went down right out of the gate, and now we have added information in regards to Susan Rice and her unmasking, which cements, ladies and gentlemen, cements the validity of everything that Devin Nunes has set up until this point. So Adam Schiff and Elijah Cummings and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and everyone else on the left who came out trying to make Devin Nunes step down from his Intel chairman, and I'm at a loss of words because there is so much information going around with this, ladies and gentlemen. There is so much information that we still don't even know about that is going to drip, 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 just like the whole Hillary Clinton email server scandal. Drip, 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 drip. It's like drip, drop, drip, drip, drop. And for those who watch Empire, you know what I'm talking about. And we are going to continually have Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo of the Communist News Network. And it's funny how Don Lemon yesterday, or the day before, I believe, came out and said that he's not even going to even talk about Susan Rice in this unmasking scandal. He ain't even going to waste his time on talking about Susan Rice in this unmasking scandal. Chris Cuomo saying that it's the right-wing media that is perpetrating this fake scandal. How is it fake, ladies and gentlemen? I could see if it was something that was completely and utterly false. No, Susan Rice unmasked Trump transition team members, Trump family members, Trump associates. She did it. She admitted it. So it's not fake when the person that is being brought to the forefront as a person doing something is admitting that they did it. How can that be fake, idiot, Chris Cuomo? How can that be fake, idiot, Don Lemon? How can that be fake for anyone on the left screaming that this is a fake scandal? No, it is not a diversion from the Russian investigation, which has yielded nothing to this point, wasting taxpayer money, you and I's taxpayer money, on this idiotic investigation. Susan Rice's, as I stated yesterday in my YouTube video, Susan Rice's unmasking puts to bed this whole Trump-Russia collusion. If there was a smoking bomb within the surveillance that Susan Rice had at her disposal, had right at her fingertips, you really think that we wouldn't know about it right now? Especially with all the leaking that went down in regards to Mike Flynn. And we all know, ladies and gentlemen, there was issues on the side, not in parallel in regards to the situation with the leaking of the Mike Flynn Russian ambassador meeting. Mike Flynn basically has his own issues that he's dealing with, and I guess we'll find out what those are to the full extent when it happens. But we all know if Mike Flynn was not surveilled and not wiretapped, he would have been an excellent national security advisor. We all know this. So obviously, Ben Rhodes, Obama's boy, did whatever he had to do in order to leak out the information in regards to Mike Flynn, which ultimately led him resigning from the deputy security advisor position. Maybe with that whole Iran deal and all the details that he probably knew that he couldn't release, that what he was probably going to release as national security advisor, multiple other scenarios could be thrown out in regards to why Mike Flynn was targeted. Now, going forward, ladies and gentlemen, going forward, and as I look to you in this camera right now, going forward, the fake news outlets are going to continue to call the Susan Rice unmasking a fake scandal. This again from the woman who lied through her teeth in regards to Benghazi, who called Bo Bergdahl someone who served our country, and I forget the exact verbiage that she said. It's escaping me right now, but you know what she said. We're going to actually trust this woman who just a few weeks ago said she knew nothing, and I mean nothing, in regards to the surveillance of Trump transition team members, Trump associates, Trump family members. And now she's saying, oh yeah, I did that. Oh yeah, I requested those names to be unmasked. We're supposed to believe this woman with anything that comes out of her mouth. And the fact that she is an Obama minion, still fluttering about, she thought that this wasn't going to come out. She thought that Hillary Clinton would be president. She thought, along with Obama, that all of the in-place Obama spies that are still roaming around in that federal government, and Trump needs to get those individuals out of there sooner than later. They thought that Hillary Clinton would be president and she would do everything within her power to make sure none of these dastardly deeds, none of this behind the scenes shenanigans would come to light. We all know this. This is why the left is so up in arms with Trump and wanting him impeached. He has done nothing, ladies and gentlemen, that would cause for him to be impeached. They just want him out of there. Number one, they can't stand the man. Number two, they beat Hillary. And number three, he is going to continually make an effort to call out the left and their idiotic, maniacal behavior. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, not because, and of course, ideology-wise, They're diametrically opposed. And speaking of Trump, and I'm going to end this again, and I'm just going to make it a quick note that I am no longer going to address individuals coming at me in regards to why I have this certain support that I have for Trump and why I'm not holding Trump's feet to the fire. If people can't understand that I have and will continue to do so, then that's on them. And this goes out to some of my friends out there on Facebook who, even before Trump announced he was going to run for president, that we were really close. I'm no longer going to allow this side issue to dismantle our friendship. It's not going to happen. Let's just, if you don't like what I say about Trump, if you don't like the fact that I might end up supporting something that he does, then just disregard it, ignore it. Or if you want to come at me, then I'm going to come back and I'm going to clap back just like I normally do, but in a courteous, professional manner that I normally do. And we're going to keep it 100 and we're going to keep it moving. And that is the end of that. Now, we are going to see a multi-thwarted front. Thwarted, I guess, when you try to thwart something, you're trying to stop a multi-stop, a cease and desist operation from the left and from the liberal, lamestream, numbnut, moonbat media, starting with Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon and anyone else affiliated with the Communist News Network and MSLSD and ABC and NBC and CBS. They are going to do whatever they can, because we all know with Susan Rice, her husband is the president of the news department at ABC. You got Ben Rhodes' brother, who's head of the news department at CBS. Who knows, as far as within the Obama camp, there may be a relative, a cousin, play cousin of somebody that runs the NBC news department. So I am going to try and do my best to see through the fog of everything, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to try and bring you the latest and greatest in regards to what's going on with this scandal. And to end this particular episode edition of yours truly, Dan Adams, the Dan Adams Show, here on Spreaker and YouTube, I want to talk about the revelation of Sean Hannity. I talked about this on my drive home video yesterday. Why is it that if this story is true, and he was talking to Jay Sekulow and Joe Genoveva, and I'm murdering his last name and I apologize. They're both lawyers. Basically, Sean was saying that there's some story out there that he was surveilled, that his conversations with Trump and Trump Tower and things of that nature were wiretapped, surveilled, and spied on, that he was asking them right on the air if they would be his counsel, and they agreed. And they were saying that he has a civil suit that he could bring everyone into the fold. Susan Rice, Evelyn Farkas, Ben Rhodes, James Clapper, and all the way up to the man himself, the Muslim in chief, the first black Muslim president, Barack Hussein Obama. Now, I was looking last night online trying to find individuals, stories, blogs, podcasts that would corroborate this story, and I didn't find many at all. So I don't know if that was just some fake news, ladies and gentlemen, that was just thrown out there to throw off the path of what was going on with Susan Rice. But unfortunately, that backfired, if that's the case, because it ties it all together. It brings it all together. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can get in touch with yours truly, Dan Adams, a.k.a. the Soulful Conservative, the DA and the prosecutor, on social media at Dan Adams Show. That's right, at Dan Adams Show on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Instagram, and Tumblr. You can reach me also on my website, thepoliticalheat.com, all one word, thepoliticalheat.com. Email danadams73@gmail.com. That's danadams73@gmail.com. I hope you enjoy this morning edition of the Dan Adams Show. I hope you go about your day and realize that God is in control. Let Jesus take the wheel. And always know that yours truly has your back. May God bless you and yours. May He keep you and your family safe. Till next time, God bless you and yours. Peace.
Hey, can I get some help here?
Yes, you. I'm talking to all of you. I need your help because I, just like many of you, am one of the millions of Americans who is all too familiar with cancer. I lost both my grandfathers and my uncle to cancer. My grandmother battled cancer 3 times in her lifetime, and my amazing mom, well, she's a 2-time cancer survivor. But there is certainly reason for hope. Due to earlier diagnosis and evolving research, the 5-year survival rates have increased for people living with cancer. One exciting area of cancer research today is the field of immuno-oncology, science that aims to work with the body's own immune system to help fight cancer. That's why I'm proud to be joining Bristol Myers Squibb and the cancer community to launch Ready, Raise, Rise, a program that educates about immuno-oncology research and encourages people to raise a flag for those we love affected by this horrible disease. On this website, you can create a personalized flag on behalf of yourself or a loved one touched by cancer and share it with your friends. You can also select a cancer organization you would like to receive a potential donation. The 3 groups with the most flags raised on their behalf will receive a charitable donation from Bristol Myers Squibb. By sharing your flag, you're making a difference by supporting loved ones, raising money for cancer groups, and educating about groundbreaking research. So please, join me. Let's raise our flags against cancer.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony.
Stealing a Supreme Court seat is wrong.
Forgive Jeff Merkley for misspeaking. The Democratic senator's been speaking for more than 13 hours without even a bathroom break, railing against Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch.
But Trump never should have been handed this opportunity.
Claiming Republicans took the seat from Obama nominee Merrick Garland, who never got a hearing, and Merkley adds,
it's enormously damaging to confirm a justice when the president's team is under investigation.
Republicans say if Democrats filibuster Gorsuch, they'll alter the rules to get him confirmed, like Democrats did several years ago to approve lower court judges. Now, here's an issue Gorsuch and the court may have to consider someday. LGBT rights. Fox's Tanya J. Powers explains live.
Dave, gay rights groups are calling the ruling by a Chicago appeals court a game changer. The 8-3 decision by the full 7th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals says the 1964 Civil Rights Act that bars sex discrimination extends to sexual orientation. That decision was on behalf of an Indiana woman who was not hired full-time by a community college because she's lesbian. The dissenting opinion on the appeals court said Congress, not the court, should have changed the act. It comes just 3 weeks after a 3-judge panel in Atlanta ruled the opposite, saying employers can discriminate based on sexual orientation. Dave.
Tanya, Japan is calling intolerable yet another North Korean missile test.
It was a missile launched like these ones. Some of the dozens of heavy rockets North Korea has fired in recent months, most of them falling in the ocean toward Japan. This missile was likely a mid-range model, said the U.S. Pacific Command. That is the kind that could hit U.S. bases in Japan or Guam.
Fox's Alistair Wanklin in our Asia Bureau. In Syria, the UN Security Council is going to meet on that chemical attack that killed 72 people, according to a Syrian monitor group. Many more were injured, foaming at the mouth, gasping for air. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced. Some Republicans in Congress want Susan Rice to testify as more comes out and President Trump's claims he and his associates were under Obama-era surveillance. Senator Rand Paul wants to ask,
did you discuss with the president that you were unmasking Trump transition officials.
Susan Rice, in an MSNBC interview, said of the notion that she outed Trump campaign surrogates for political gain.
That's absolutely false.
She said her position as national security advisor allowed her to ask for IDs of people unnamed in intelligence reports making questionable contacts.
We only do it to protect the American people, to do our jobs in the national security realm.
That process is called unmasking and is perfectly legal. Leaking that information, however, is not legal. But supporters of President Trump say it's the most compelling evidence of an Obama administration conspiracy, which they feel led to Michael Flynn's downfall and constant speculation of a Russian connection to the Trump White House. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Homeland Security Secretary Kelly will testify at the Senate later this morning on border security, and he may talk about this.
Illegal immigration is at the lowest level in at least 17 years. The head of Homeland Security, John Kelly, says in a written statement, the number of illegal immigrants arrested after crossing into the U.S. plummeted from 58,000 in February of this year to 12,500 in March. This is no accident, according to Kelly. He gives President Donald Trump the credit for the low numbers. The president continues promising to build a border wall between the U.S. and Mexico.
Fox's Heather Curtis, the first bids for design contracts for that wall have been submitted. Yesterday was the deadline. Alabama's governor's declared a state of emergency. Some schools in South Carolina plan to close early today ahead of thunderstorms expected to roll across the southeast, bringing the threat of tornadoes and even hail the size of baseballs. On Wall Street, stock futures are flat ahead of today's trading. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio. On Wall Street, stock futures are flat ahead of today's trading. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
Let me start with the question. Who is the one that leads you in the right direction? No introspection needed. Pouring from a brain, similes and metaphors, it's yours. The future, the present, the past, leaving single ladies just like Stacey Dash. Looking for commitment, honesty, monogamy. Reverse the spoken psychology. I've been there, I've done that. Can't control it, the head knot and toe tap. This musical course, strategic, starting conversation like a world epidemic. No need to panic, crisis averted. Put fears to bed like water I tread lightly, but firm with conviction. Better seek Webster's for the right definition. Give me one more chance to satisfy your needs. One more chance, I'll keep you satisfied. Give me one more chance, one more chance, yeah. Just give me one more chance. Time to illuminate and create the proper platform, construct the perfect storm. Known as the triple threat. I rhyme and sing, never referencing the bling. No need to harm my chest, so conceited. Eliminate behavior that won't be repeated. Number one terminate seed. I feed off the vibe that the crowd is giving. This religion is warmly blessed from God above. Strive for perfection, avoid the intersection. Gossip, backstabbing. The jury has spoken, appeal to the real. Smacks you right in the face. Run a quarter mile so you can keep pace. All about the ends being justified, leaving you tongue-tied. Give me one more chance to satisfy your needs. One more chance, I'll keep you satisfied. Give me one more chance, one more chance, yeah. Just give me one more chance. Better check the agenda. The course material, watching the square me to see so eventful. Sorta like pay-per-view or on demand. The lyrical Jackie Chan, self-directing this epic masterpiece. I'm soon to release the second installment. Not a sequel, looking to rise above, never equal. Everything is on the table. sharing my soul to the world, not a fable. This is real as real can get. Look on both sides and make that bet. The best had to fail before success. Don't wallow in the mire, I'll take you higher. Firmly planted, taking a stance. Always looking for one more chance.